The biggest issue I have found with working with clients in the past is that many of them don't understand why they're having the hair loss that they're having, or where to even begin to try to fix it. A lot of them have already been to doctors, dermatologists. They're on the verge of getting steroid shots. They're on the verge of getting transplants. They're on the verge of doing extreme things. But at the end of the day, they still don't understand why it's happening, or they've been given this fancy label and diagnosis that honestly has nothing to do with what's going on with them. So let me share with you the growth strategy that I helped my clients implement in the previous push program that I used to run. And I'll tell you right now, this is the difference between the ones who got growth in the push through programs and the ones who didn't. It's also the difference in the ones who continue to get growth after they stop working with me and the ones who didn't. It's everything. It helps you clearly define the necessary steps you need to take in order to get growth. There is no blanket fits to hair growth. It is individualized, and so it takes an individualized approach. There's no way that I can tell you to do X, Y, and Z. You go and do it and you get growth. That's just not how it works. You have to figure out what's going on with you, what's going on with your body, and what things you need to do to implement that's going to work best for you. It needs to be tailor-made to you and your hair. And if you don't get down to the root cause of what's causing your hair loss in the first place, you're going to be stuck in this loopy loop of no growth forever. And we don't want that, right? So let's get right into it. So I have my notes here to make sure that I cover every single thing. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So the first thing that we need to do before we can even get started on the growth strategy is we need to start looking at the body as a complex interconnected system and not just a bunch of discrete diagnoses like CCCA or alopecia areata or traction alopecia. They're not just diagnoses that just pop up unrelated. They are normally a secondary symptom to something major that's going on with you. If you haven't checked out my video, make sure you go back and check it out where I help you simplify your diagnosis to truly get focused on what's going on with you. But hair regrowth is a whole body healing. It's a whole body problem. The problem is we keep expecting it to be this one thing. Now, it may have started off initially as this one thing, but unfortunately, it's probably not just one thing now. Now you have to untwist and connect the pieces to figure out step by step, problem by problem, what is happening with you and what are the steps that you need to take in order to get growth back. Eventually, this will end up looking like a growth loop. A growth loop is a visual tool that depicts where you are in your growth process and essentially what you should be focusing on to start your hair to grow back. Because you can't focus on growth if you're actively shedding. And you can't get forever growth if you haven't gotten to the root cause and every single month your hair is falling out. Because the root cause is truly what's stopping you from getting the forever growth you're looking for anyway. So this provides a way for you to streamline your flow of growth and give you the necessary feedback to know what to do next. The goal is to make the confusion way more simpler. It may start out as a confusional bundle, but in the end, you have a step-by-step process that's going to take you from no growth to forever growth. It's going to paint a clear picture of what is working and what isn't. If you're not tracking what's helping and you're not looking at what's harming, then we're basically stumbling from thing to thing, product to product, looking for growth and looking at our bald spot every week, every month, every day. And all we know is that it's not working, which leaves us lost and confused, right? This helps you eliminate the guessing game in your growth strategy. So during the planning phase of the growth strategy, we use the growth loop to define the regimen and then use the results to plan out the actual steps in the strategy and keep track of the techniques used. So let's just say we have somebody who hasn't had any growth in a couple of years and she's bounced around from product to product. The first thing I would advise her to do is to sit down and do a complete hair loss assessment. A hair loss assessment is a very simple method of collecting, organizing, and analyzing everything that we are doing or have done in order to get regrowth. The growth strategy we implement should be based on data and not guesses and somebody off of YouTube. And your hair loss assessment is the most powerful tool you have in order to figure out where to begin. It gives you the opportunity to collect the data about the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how of your growth strategy. This is the first step in the planning phase and the beginning of the growth strategy. The one thing we don't want is for our efforts to go in vain. We will use it to plan out the initial steps and how we will make improvements in our growth strategy at the very beginning. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to brain dump under each category. Write down all of the activities, brainstorm all of the essential components necessary to begin her growth loop. She's going to pull up old photos, journal entries, ask loved ones, when did you first start noticing hair loss? What year? What changed? What changed a year before that? 6 months before? What types of events happened in your life? Were there any major stressors? Any new medications? Name the hair products that you've already tried to use to grow your hair back. When was the last time your labs were checked? And what were they? Do I have any medical labels on me? And what do those labels cause? Inflammation? Infection? What is it? It's a complete assessment of the possible internal and external questions and things that I have been putting inside or on the outside of my body. Pertinent questions to pinpoint the root cause. And by doing this, now we're able to gather a realistic goal and set clear and measurable expectations. So let's say her goal is to decrease shedding. Well, we can't decrease the shedding and make an improvement in growth until we get a baseline of the shedding currently and what is causing it. So now what we want to do is we want to take those thoughts and categorize them. Anything that previously worked or worked a little, see if anything that previously harmed us that we need to definitely stay away from. The very first part is what makes her mad. These are the things that will or has made her fall out. You're going to see shedding. You're going to see weak strands. They're going to be easily breakable. You're going to have dryness. Did you use a product that caused your hair to inflame and fall out? Was it a green product? More than likely, it probably wasn't. Are you still using any green product or any red or orange products? Did it make it dry or moisturize? How does your hair respond after wearing a wig? Do you have increased shedding? What happens after you wash it? Do you wash it and get this big old ball of shedding afterwards or before you wash it? Are you using bad techniques? Are you putting hot water on it? Like, you want to look at all of the things that make her mad. Anything that made her dry, inflame, fall out, those are the things that you want to put down on this list from the previous list that we had. So then we want to categorize the things that make her happy. These are the things that make her feel soft, make her look beautiful, make her look moisturized and luscious. What were those things? When was the last time she looked her best, and what exact things were done to do it? Were you going to a specific stylist? Were you using any techniques and methods to help you get those results? Did anything change in the meantime where you went from luscious to not luscious that you have a clear, distinct notice of? Then in the next category, you want to look at the things that made her grow previously. These are the things inside and outside you do to help you and your hair bulb create new strands and not be dormant. What you put on the inside reflects on the outside. If you heal within, the outside will never be without. Did you check all your vitamin levels, and are they in check? What is your diet? Does it create more inflammation within your body? Is your hair bulb stimulated or is it dormant? Then the last category are the things that are going to make her stay. These are the things that will give you the forever growth that you're looking for. You learn these things by implementing a growth plan based off of the data we've already collected and then evaluate it weekly for its effectiveness. We'll get to more of that in a second. But basically, you want to categorize mad, happy, grow, and stay. Whatever makes her mad will make her fall out. So we want to stay away from that. Whatever makes her happy, happy is less inflamed. And it will create the most optimal environment in order for your hair bulb to be stimulated and then for you to get the potential growth that you're looking for. Then what techniques and products are we using to get growth? We want to track these because whatever we're doing to get growth, we want to make sure that we implement those every single day, every single week, every single month. Then what are we going to do to make her stay? Every single month, if you're getting growth but experiencing shedding, it defeats the purpose of everything that you're doing. So we want to make sure that when we do get the growth, she is going to stay with us. So after you do your brain dump, and then you categorize your brain dump into these different 4 categories, now you need to get a baseline of the hair loss and the hair loss situation. So now what we want to do is have a baseline and look at how much shedding we are doing so that then it's easier to implement a plan. So we look at the level of shedding we're having, and this is our baseline. Then we want to focus week to week, how much hair are we losing or saving? What you measure will grow. By decreasing the shedding, you are going to have a major impact on your forever growth. You cannot get to where you're trying to get if every month your hair is falling out. I repeat, if every month your hair is falling out, you're not doing something right, and you're never going to get the forever growth you're looking for. So then once you get your baseline, you're going to implement your plan based on the level of shedding. So let's say she's at a level 5. Level 5 means there is signs of breakage. You'll see short broken off pieces, patchy hair loss, severe thinning, large clumps of hair are lost during the handling process. So now everything that we have done so far up until this point should let you know exactly what's causing it, or a direction that you should go to get to the root cause to make sure you're handling the underlying issue. I cannot stress enough, if you are not focused on making sure you get to the underlying issue, you're doomed. You're doomed to no growth forever, I promise you. So before you can even focus on growth, you know without a shadow of doubt that these things should be handled first. So a stimulated hair bulb will not grow new strands during the shedding phase. So this could be from heat damage, relaxing without proper care, inflammation, a reaction to medication. There are just too many possibilities for you to play the guessing game. And playing the guessing game is not an effective growth strategy at all. So let's say hers was from medication. All she needs to do is talk with her doctor and get it changed, because I'm pretty sure there's another medication out there that won't make her hair grow back. Then she needs to implement strengthening techniques to make sure that whatever she's doing and whatever she's putting on the outside is making her strand stronger, not weaker. She's fine. But let's say her issue is deeper and she has inflammation. That's the most common one out of all of them. You have to see what's causing your insides to be inflamed. This can be different for everybody. Then you need to see how you can eliminate it. What changes in your diet need to be made? What changes in your environment could be possibly causing you to have inflammation? Like before, I think I stated, I work with a client who used to wash her hands in bleach water. I wash my dishes in bleach water too, and I don't put any gloves. But for her, it was making her hair fall out because it made her body be more inflamed because she was absorbing it more faster, and it didn't sit well with her. So you have to be mindful of things that can be in your environment. Hard water in your shower can also cause your hair to fall out and be extra dry. You have to figure out what it is, and you have to do this through a process of elimination. Then you implement your growth strategy, see if that's what it was, and try it out. Then every week, you want to measure your ball. You want it to get smaller and smaller and smaller. This is letting you know that what you're doing is working. Then everything that you are doing, you're going to put that in the happy box because that's working. If it's getting bigger, you're going to figure out what the thing is that's doing wrong, and then you're going to put that over in the mad box. Each week, you are collecting data to see if your efforts are having the expected results you seek, and if not, what needs to change. And we do that through flavor. What is your flavor of the week? So each week, you're going to see how does she feel, look, what actions you took, if you had any visual growth, what needs to be omitted this week, and then what needs to be revamped. The first time you do it will give you your baseline. Your starting point should only go up from there. Then you look at this weekly. Then after a few months, you come back with a few weeks of data. And now you no longer have the question of, how do I know what's working and what's not, and what to focus on? Now the data you collect will tell you exactly what efforts are working, exactly what efforts are not, and exactly what the hell you need to stay away from. So if we said that our goal is to decrease shedding, and we had decreased shedding every week for the last 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden we have a week where our hairball is bigger, it stands out. Now the question is why? What was different in this week that made the shedding worse? Now you have to reverse engineer your habits, but now you can get a clearer picture because you don't have to go back 8 weeks, and I can't even remember what I did last week, let alone 8 weeks ago, right? So if you're having shedding, what did your flavor show? What did you put in the mad column, and have you eliminated them? Are you implementing everything that would make her happy? Are you focusing on the problems you originally identified as an issue during your brainstorming sessions? You see how it all kind of loops back to what is going on with you on the inside and the outside of you? We can't be out here listening to me and nobody else on YouTube and hoping that they have the answers to our problem. The magic is within you, baby girl, and I'm gonna help you pull it out and find it. Your hair growth begins and ends with you, mama. Nobody should be able to tell you more about your growth than you. But here's the problem that I found in my coaching program. Most people are not consistent enough to gather enough data to be able to spotlight and highlight the patterns, whether it be your own technique, the hard water in your house, your products, stress, meds, whatever it is. Most people just won't do it. They're not willing to put in the effort long enough to get the results. And then they say, my hair is not growing. And I don't know why. Can you help me? In my experience, what I have said is, sure, I will help you. And then I tell them exactly what to do. And they're like, oh, okay. And then there are three types of people. There are the people who ain't gonna do shit week to week, or they complete it in my 6-week push-through program, and then when it ends, they stop too. Or they actually do complete it, they get the results, and then they continue on, and they have the forever growth that they're looking for. But the other two groups, what they don't do is they don't blame themselves. They blame the hair products, they blame everybody else and everything else, the doctors, the stylists, their condition, their label that they was given, everything else but themselves. But at the end of the day, they're still stuck with no growth. So let's get out of the blame game. Let's get out of the confusion game, and let's really figure out what's going on with you. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there is no magic product out there, and there is no magic one fits all. Hair regrowth is individualized. It takes a lot of effort. But you know that, right? Yeah, it does. Because look how long most of my clients that I work with have been experiencing this, anywhere from 5 to 20 years. A lot of them were still able to get successful growth because they was willing to put in the work. But you're never gonna get it if you don't get down to the root cause. However, if you watch this all the way through, then hopefully you're not like those people, because I've had plenty in my program, but I've also had some that were able to go all the way through, and those were the ones who were successful in getting their hair regrowth back, and to still text me that they're still having growth right now, even without using my hair growth oil ledges. Because at the end of the day, when I made this program, my goal was never to create ledges, loving about a hair growth oil to have you dependent upon it forever. Nobody wants to be committed to themselves or their men forever, let alone a hair growth product. The goal is to get you started, jumpstart the hair bulb, because it's a hair bulb stimulator, and then continue using it until every hair bulb has been stimulated, then eventually get off of it. That is why you have to learn these techniques, so that once you stop using it, your hair growth will continue. I don't want to be one of those products where when you stop using it, like Rogaine when I did, or when you even begin using it, make more of your hair fall out. That's not what it is. We're not trying to have that happen. So that's why you have to learn the techniques of why this is happening to you and the ins and outs of it. Because like I said before, it's all individualized. So you as an individual have to figure out what's going on with you. You can fit to you. It's hard work, but you can fit to you. And hopefully you're ready to make real change. So in the next video, we are going to discuss where you should be focused based on the results of why this is happening to you and the results of your what for. Then we will do a walkthrough of how to implement all the steps. Beyond your growth strategy, what should your hair growth regimen look like? How do you determine if you have a safe and effective care plan? We're going to do a complete walkthrough of all the steps past your root cause analysis. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you lock in. Until the next time, I wish you guys the most growth.